And welcome to the Davenport Coaches Show, coming to you live from Uccello's in Caledonia here on a Wednesday night. I'm Rick Berkey, the head coach. Sparky McEwen is here. We've got some special guests also lined up. Men's soccer coach Chris Hughes is going to join us tonight. We'll talk a little bit about the men's soccer team off to a good start in their season. Austin Alward, who had a terrific game on defense for Davenport, will be here. We'll talk to Sparky a little bit about that, and then we'll visit with Austin. And, of course, we will preview this Saturday's home opener against Central Missouri, number 11 team in the country. And we'll talk plenty about that when we get closer to that point near the later half of the show. But right now we welcome in Coach Sparky McEwen. 2-0 the Panthers are after the second straight hard-earned road victory. And I tell you what, it's tough winning anywhere, but it's really tough winning on the road. You guys have done it 2 weeks in a row.
They've done a great job. You know, I'm so proud of this group. You know, they come to work. They're professionals, and you know, when you talk about being student athletes, these guys, man, that's what they're all about. They take care of their business in the classroom. You know, you got a number of guys on the bus. You know, that long bus trip and studying and getting prepared for, you know, tests in school. And you know, I just kind of looked over and gazed at a couple of coaches. I said, these guys get it. You know, so I'm proud of them. You know, to come back 2-0, man, that's big time. Playing on the road, you know, there's people out there that don't understand that it's really, really difficult. And, you know, just talking to a couple coaches and just asking them about the players. They're talking about how tired the players really are, you know, because, you know, sleeping in a different bed and all the travel on a bus, it's always tough. And, you know, it's unfortunate, but, you know, this is what we have to deal with. And these guys play over all that adversity and to come home 2-0. We're excited about that.
And it was a really even game overall, almost dead even in total yardage. No turnovers in the game. That for either side. That's very unusual.
Actually, they had one.
Oh, they had the one.
Yeah, they had the one.
The one fumble.
Yeah, and it was a big one. You know, so you know, for us, we really stress ball security and then taking the ball away from the opponent. And you know, in the year I think we're +3, so you know we're proud of that. You know, we take that serious. And we know in order to be successful, you know, in this conference, you know, you're going to have to be on the positive sides and the turnover ratio.
Boy, I tell you, a similar story in both your games. Your offense gets you off to a good start. Your defense holds them down. Then the opponents take a momentum in the third quarter. And then early fourth, it's back and forth, and your defense finally makes enough stops to secure the win both times.
Yeah, you know, they did a really good job of, you know, like I said, going out and getting the must stops, and then our offense doing a great job at getting the must scores, you know. And I always tell people, you know, that will listen, don't get bored with winning. You know, winning is very tough to do, and I can't stress once again how proud I am of these kids and the adversity of going on the road twice and 2 long, you know, road trips and coming away victorious, you know, and we're excited about it. Now we're trying to get rested up to play a very tough team this Saturday.
You had 4 sacks in the game, 2 by our guest, Austin Alward, who'll join us in a little bit.
It's great having him back. We didn't have him for the first game, and you know, he dressed out, and you know, it was my decision to not play him in that first ball game, and you know, he told me he wanted to go, and I felt like, you know, his health is more important than, you know, a football game. And we used the extra week to get him healthy. And now he came back.
He's ready
to
rock.
Like he was on fire and had a few tackles for loss. And he actually forced a fumble as well. You know, so we're excited to have Captain back.
Coach's decision was a good one there. As that it turns out you protected your player and he came back extra strong, and it certainly paid off. Good to see Preston Smith get a touchdown reception there. He needed that. Your offense needed that.
You know, we've had some opportunities at scores over the first 2 games, and offensively, you know, we've been really close to clicking on all cylinders, but it's early in the year, and, you know, unfortunately we did miss, you know, some throws. We missed some throws, and we missed some slight adjustment routes. And, you know, with that being said, you know, your next opponent, you're going to have to make those because, you know, we're scoring at, you know, right around a 21-point average I think the team that we play, they average that in the first quarter. So
They
we're
do.
going to have to pick up on those things that we've missed, and hopefully it begins this week.
Quickly, two things. We mentioned Preston Smith. He was your offensive player. Austin Alward, we mentioned, is your defensive player. Your special teams player was Luke Snyder, and your Panther was Deeb Alawan.
Yeah, Deeb's done a tremendous job for us. He's the Ashland transfer, and he's been a very nice, pleasant surprise for us. And, he's one that's really liked in the locker room. He does a great job, man, of putting pressure on the passer. He's tough. He's tough with that size of his. He's a very muscular, built young man, and he's built low to the ground, and it makes it tough on, the offensive lineman. And then Luke Snyder, he's made the transition smoothly from, linebacker over to special teams and then tight end. And I'm proud of him, because he's fought his butt off to be a very important piece to our successes.
All right, Coach, well, you got it. You're 2-0. We're going to come back later in the show and talk about the home opener this Saturday against Central Missouri. You mentioned that explosive offense. We're going to talk more about that and the challenge you have. But right now, enjoy it. And go enjoy some more Uccello's great food here. We'll come back and talk some men's soccer with Chris Hughes.
Okay.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll come. The Davenport Coaches Show, live from Uccello's in Caledonia. Stop out, enjoy the great ambiance. They've got always a good time here. They've got 100 different TV screens, all different sizes, all different angles. You can't sit anywhere in here without watching sports somewhere. And you go, of course, enjoy that great food they have. We're switching gears to talk men's soccer. 13th season as the head coach. Chris Hughes joins us right now. And, Coach, you're like fine wine. You get better each year.
I try.
I didn't say better looking.
Yeah, I didn't
just
say
said
that.
better.
No. I'm happily married, and it's all good. I'll call it good. I married way up.
You did. Your wife, Heather, and your two sons live in Caledonia, and you're West Michigan born. Or you're settled now. You're not going to go anywhere here. We got you here, and we're going to keep you as long as you want to keep coaching here. Let's talk a little bit about this team, first of all. Off to a pretty good start. 4 games on the road, 2 wins, 1 loss, and 1 tie. And overall, I got to think you're pretty pleased with their play.
It was we didn't know what the year was going to look like, right? We had a good returning class. We needed to bring in some key pieces that were going to really back up the group from last year. And so far, some of our young ones are really doing a nice job. I think a couple of the transfers coming in have brought some wonderful maturity to the group, and we came out of the gates. We lost the first game, but I think that was a good wake-up call that we need to go to another level, and this group just does not give up. And boy, it's been an absolute riot to coach these guys so far this year.
Chris, you mentioned the youngsters. One of them, a freshman from Mona Shores over here on the west side, has come in, freshman Easton Lopez. He's already booted in 4 goals.
You know what? He's absolutely on fire. One of the nicest kids you'll ever meet, but the whistle blows, and he just goes to another level. He backs down to 0. It backs down to no one, and it's just taken. He's eloquent at the same time. He's going to do well in grades academically, and just an absolute blessing to have in this program.
Got a good blending of some foreigners, and one of those junior Cam Power from Ireland. He's got 2 goals and 2 assists already for you.
Cam is, he's just special. He's one of our leaders on this team, in this program, and he just leads by example, and when the other boys don't perform and you hear Cam bark from about 20 yards away, you just need to take your game to another level. He just kind of demands that out of his buddies, his teammates, and man, what a blessing he is to have in this program. I just wish he wouldn't be graduating, but it is what it is, and so I'm going to soak up as much as I can of Cam power over the next couple months here.
Coach, it's always a challenge when you bring in players from outside the area here. Is it a special challenge when they're coming from another country, and how do you bridge that gap of not necessarily playing the game, but mixing with the teammates?
It's a true art. It's very difficult. You hope that the young men that are transferring in are coming from a distance, that could be domestically or international. You hope that during your first couple conversations, whether it be WhatsApp, FaceTime, phone call, whatever it be, that you try to find a commonality, you try to find a piece that would fit your culture, the program you're trying to build. One of my second or third calls with a lot of the kids from overseas is I meet with the parents. I want to know what mom and dad are all about. I want to know what type of backing my player would have. I want to know how they were taught, how they were groomed, and if I feel good about that, that I can continue what they've taught over those years, I think there'll be a good mix. I'll move forward on it. So that's part of my interviewing process. So I'm not perfect at it by any means because it's still difficult. Because the different countries have different languages, barriers. They think differently. They eat differently. I mean, it's just, but it's a true blessing when you get them all on the field together from all around the world, and you can make something powerful, effective, and you're winning games. There's nothing better than that.
I like your philosophy with the parents. The tree will tell you about the apple, right?
Yeah, it will. It will.
Chris, you're a longtime real estate agent.
I try to. Yes.
Well, I mean, you've been doing that as long as you've been coaching.
Actually, about 20 years. I've been coaching, I was at Calvin for 18 years, right? So I've been coaching for a while. But, real estate is just, I struggle sitting in a desk all day long. It's just not my thing. I need to get up and move and shake. And today, after my training session today, I was out in Allendale. Then I went into Forest Hills for a new listing. Then I went back to my Coldwell Banker office, then over here. So I am just on the go at all times, and I absolutely love helping people buy homes and sell homes.
So have any of your former players come and become agents for you?
Oh, yes.
Tell us about it.
We have. I've got one right now, Jesse Zamudio. He was on our national championship team, and he is not only selling, but he's also buying properties, flipping them, just making a killing. Absolutely brilliant. I always knew he was going to do something special in life. But he was part of that national championship squad those years when we were just an absolute force to be reckoned with. And I've had others in the past. I've had other coaches from other colleges, universities, high schools that have worked with me and for me, and it's been just an absolute hoot. So, but I do, when I recruit those that have been in athletics of some sort. We all kind of think the same, don't we? And the real estate world is very competitive, and a lot of the time those athletes kind of rise to the top.
All right, finally, Chris, you stay on the road Friday, you play at Missouri State S&T.
Yep.
And then finally, Sunday, you get a home match. Your home opener is Sunday against Lake Erie, 1 o'clock at the Farmers Insurance Athletic Complex. Tell us about this weekend and the challenges you're going to face against Missouri S&T and Lake Erie at home.
Right now in the region, we're ranked number 7. Missouri S&T are ranked number 8 in the region. There's 4 regions, and men's soccer is in the nation. And there's 5 teams from the GLIAC in the top 10, which is unreal this year. So, but we're not to the GLIAC yet. We've got 2 more games. We've got Missouri S&T. So, they've I think they're 3-1-0, something to that effect. So they found ways to win. I'm just more focused on us. I think if we do what we do, we'll find success in that. Lake Erie is always a powerhouse. They started out with a real rough one at the beginning of the year this year, and then they're finding some winning ways. So they're going to be coming in. It's going to be our first home game. I'm looking forward to that. I'd love to have a big crowd there. I'd love to get as many people out there as possible. And then we got a bunch of home matches coming up, which is going to be exciting at our home stadium. Looking forward to it.
All right, it's Sunday afternoon, 1 o'clock at Farmers Insurance Athletic Complex. Come out there for the home opener against Lake Erie. Chris, I always enjoy visiting with you. Best of luck this weekend and down the road again.
Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you.
All right, we'll take a break, come back and visit with Austin Alward from the football team as the Davenport Coaches Show continues live from Uccello's in Caledonia. The Davenport Coaches Show from Uccello's in Caledonia rolls on here. Enjoyed visiting with Chris Hughes, the men's soccer coach. Coach Sparky McEwen will join us in our final segment to talk about the home opener this Saturday afternoon, 12 noon. Want to get out there against Central Missouri. Terrific team, and they've got the defending Harlan Hill Trophy winner coming to Davenport this Saturday. If you're not familiar with the Harlan Hill Trophy, that is the D2 equivalent to the Heisman Trophy. The best player in Division II was named last year from Central Missouri, a quarterback. We'll talk about the record-breaking performances he's had already. But right now we're going to switch. We're going on the defensive side. Austin Alward, grad student, West Michigan guy, not far from here. Grew up in Middleville and went to Middleville Thornapple Kellogg High School. And had a nice Saturday. 5 tackles, 2 sacks, and had to feel good for your first game back on the field.
Thank you. Yeah, it's always great being out there with the team and putting together something special and ultimately coming home with the win. Being so far from home, a lot of adversity hits, and it's cool to see us come out on top when it matters.
Let's go back a week earlier. Sparky talked about the fact that you wanted to go in week 1, and he decided to keep you on the sideline. Talk about that decision and how it felt at the time, and then how it felt. It looks like it paid off for you last Saturday.
Yeah, there's, like I said, adversity, and being a college athlete, there's going to be things that happen, and sometimes that's missing a game. And the hardest thing was mentally just staying locked in and making sure that everybody around me was doing their job and taking care of business when I'm not out there. And it's obviously we know the result, 2-0 now, so they got it done, and it was cool to be on the side with the guys. Game ready, coach held me back, but that's okay. I trust his decision making.
You had an internship in personal training. Do you think that that's helped you, as far as knowing more about the training, as far as when you're injured, or is that not a factor really?
Oh, of course, 100%. That goes into my mentality every day I wake up, how I can better myself, how I can get better for tomorrow. So when something is holding me back, it's ultimately it's up to me to make sure that I come back strong and I'm doing the things that I'm supposed to be doing. And with the knowledge of what I have, I can apply all of that. So it's like a full circle moment for me.
Austin Alward, our guest here on the Davenport Coaches Show, had an outstanding season last year. Second team All-GLIAC, had 31 tackles and tied for the team lead with 9 TFLs. How did you approach this year, Austin, your final year? In the offseason, what did you focus on? I say that you knew you had to raise your game a notch in 1 or 2 areas.
Yeah, it's about the consistency and just polishing up all those little things. And when it comes down to it, you just got to make sure that you're 1% better every single day. And whatever you do today, it's going to affect you tomorrow. So stacking those days on top of each other, being with the team, creating relationships, and being around the types of people that are going to bring you up. Ultimately, that's all you need to do, and you got to stay locked in on your job. And I knew what the task was ahead of me, and I knew what I had to do to get there. So with the process of that, it's not always going to be pretty, but I know if I keep my foot on the gas, we're going to get somewhere.
You mentioned being with the team. Well, you've got some 2-day road trips this year on the schedule, extra long travels. How do you adjust and adapt to that with these longer trips like you had last week?
It's a mindset, because we're gonna be away from home. We're not gonna be being able to go back to our apartments and kind of just relaxing and getting ready for the game. We're on the road. We're on the bus. We're eating different kinds of foods. We're making sure that we're on time to meetings that are in different conference rooms. So there's a lot of things and factors that go into it. And when you see everybody show up on time, when you see everybody doing the right things, that it doesn't matter where you're at as long as you go with the right intentions. It's all that matters.
Austin, you're majoring in marketing. You've got your undergrad degree, working towards your master's. What do you still have to get the master's?
Like 3 more classes, and then I got 2 degrees under my belt. So I'm gonna have my impact on Caledonia, Michigan, and I'm gonna take something that can help me wherever I go in life.
Will you graduate in December? Or
I will be in the spring. So,
in the spring, okay.
Yep.
3 more classes after this semester.
Yep.
Okay, well, that'd be great. Walk in the spring, that's fantastic. And we would love to keep you around West Michigan. Your favorite athlete is Calvin Johnson. As good as he is on the defensive line, a lot of folks don't realize he was quite the high school receiver. Is that why Calvin was your favorite?
100%. I grew up watching him catch the ball, and I knew if you can touch it, you can catch it, and that's what I live by. And he was definitely someone I looked up to.
You're still a big Lions fan.
Of course.
What do you think of their first 2 games so far? They're 1-1, and expectations are high. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's cool to see like different pros compete on that level, and when it comes down to it, there's going to be good games, there's going to be bad games. We all know the Detroit Lions, and we know that they're on the upcome. So I believe that there's going to be a lot of good change that comes our way for Michigan and Detroit.
Who's your favorite player on the current Lions team? 1 or 2?
Amon-Ra St. Brown for sure.
Oh yeah,
he knows how to catch the ball,
and he's a classy guy.
And then you can't go wrong with Aiden Hutchinson having 3+ sacks in the first quarter.
So that's your former position and your current position, right?
You gotta stay true to the heart, and then you gotta accept the change.
Well, let's see. This Saturday, you've got the home opener. You know that we're playing against one of the top quarterbacks in the nation, if not in Division II, if not the top guy. You guys are going to have to really put some pressure on him, I think, to have success.
Yes, sir. We just got to trust our training and revert to our tools and put it together.
All right, Austin. Always great visiting with you, and we look for more big things for you down the road.
Thank you.
Austin Alward, our guest. We're going to take one more break, come back and talk more about this Saturday's home opener against Central Missouri. Stay with us here on the Davenport Coaches Show. And our final segment of the Davenport Coaches Show. Coach Sparky McEwen joins us back once again. We're going to look ahead to this Saturday's home opener against Central Missouri, ranked number 11. They're 1-1 on the season. But as Coach mentioned before, they are averaging over 50 points a game in their 2 games so far. Coach, before we talk about the game specifically, let's talk a little bit about how good it's going to be to finally play a home game, period.
The team is so excited because, the road trips were – I think we counted 7 days actually on a bus, because it was significant distances. So coming back home and playing before our home crowd, man, and it seems like we've been on the road forever, So we're looking forward to it, and, we just got to get through the next couple of days of practice, and, we got that team coming in from the MIAA that's really, really good.
Yeah, the Missouri Intercollegiate Athletic Association, and average, as we told you, 51 points a game, 475 yards a game passing. Zach Zabrowski, that's the name that we know. Coach, I know we on this side of the microphone, talking myself, tend to throw superlatives out, but is it fair to say this is the most talented offensive player that's ever set foot on the Farmers Insurance Athletic Complex?
Oh, yeah, by far. He's as advertised, he won the Harlan Hill Trophy. And, I was fortunate enough to coach, work with Tony with Vanderlaan.
Jason Vanderlaan.
He won it back-to-back. And, this young man that we're going to be playing, he's cut out of that same mold. He's a game changer. And, from what I hear, he's just an amazing young man as well. And he understands the game. He comes from a background, a family associated in the game. And, it's a coach on the field, and our defense understands. They get it. We're going to have our hands full with, what he does, for that team. They're very, very blessed to have someone running the offense that, the head coach has implemented there. And, it's going to be one of those deals where, I understand a lot of points, being scored, because that's my background, okay? And, they remind you of arena football. Okay.
Which you are so familiar with, and so am I.
Yeah, and one of the things about playing a team of this nature, a score here or there, you can't worry about it. You just got to know that, you can't stop, them. You can just hope to contain them somewhat. And he's got a host of guys that will, share the rock, with him. And they got a great back. They got great receivers. And then, last week I know they put up, Central Oklahoma put up a lot of, yards there. And, but there was a lot of things working against them as well. And, but their defense, they've got some really good football players over there on defense. And, you're talking about the MIAA champion. They lost by 1 point to Harding last year. And, they were the odds-on favorite to come back and potentially win the national championship. So that minor setback last week is just what that was. And we know we have our hands full, but, our boys are up for the challenge.
When you play a team and a player like this with a prolific offense like that, do you do, without getting into specifics, do you do special drills? Like I'm thinking in terms like I've seen basketball coaches when they're playing a really incredible defensive team, they'll have their offense in practice go against 6 players, because it seems like there's 6 guys on defense against a really good defense team. Any type of special thing that you do, or are you still running your basic defense in practice this week?
Well, you can't just run your basic defense against, an offense, like this, because they spread you out from sideline to sideline. They really, stress you, horizontally and vertically, so, but, for us, what needs to be understood is that this is preparing for something different. We don't have anything like this in the GLIAC. You actually run into more teams like this in the MIAA than you do in the GLIAC, so we're built a little different. But one of the things that pretty much I can say is kind of something that we share with the MIAA is our brand of tough football. We play tough football, they play tough football, so that part of it, we're good with. But it's just the scheme. The scheme just stresses you out, and I've talked to my staff and said, we just can't change everything about who we are. And that's tough because, it's going to put our kids in some really tough situations. But our boys know, they've been students of the games, and they just got to step up when there's a chance or an opportunity to make a play. They just got to make the plays.
Well, we hope that, as you said, we want to get as many fans out there cheering on the red and black Saturday afternoon against Central Missouri, the home opener at 12 noon. And Coach, let's keep it going. 2-0 sounds great, but 3-0 would be even better yet. So let's do it one more time.
Well, to date, this is the biggest game in history of, our school. We played in the championship last year, versus, Ferris State, an opportunity to get a share. Now all of a sudden you're going against a powerhouse like this, a champion from the MIAA. Our players are well aware of who they are. And we absolutely respect what they've done, especially in a short period of time. But we're excited for this challenge.
That'll wrap up tonight's edition of the Davenport Coaches Show. Thanks to our special guest, Chris Hughes, the men's soccer coach, and, of course, Austin Alward from the team. So for Coach Sparky McEwen, I'm Rick Berkey saying thanks for